Hi Gemini, Sun, Moon and Rising, welcome to Ethernal Realms and welcome to your February reading. I was just turning on the calendar for February here so I can take a look at the astrological aspects and I can fine-tune your reading. So let's see what your overall theme of your month is for Feb. We have waning crescent moon with surrender and we have moonrise, relax. All right, so these kind of go hand in hand here, right? There's a low-key vibe to this month. It kind of seems as though you can take some time off, you can be in the background a little bit, you can do whatever feels right basically. So, going with the flow is what I'm mostly getting here. So if you feel like you need to take it easy and take a bit of a vacation for yourself, I think you can get a chance to do that. But if it's quite the opposite, like socializing with your friends, for example, is something more relaxing for you, then go ahead and do that. Either way, there is a level of flow and lack of resistance to something that is already happening. All right, so major highlights, we have December. Yes, it was interesting. You got 2 months of the year for your top 3 highlights here. So there is a bit of a timeline going on. We have March as well, was the second one. And we have Camel, which says persevere and you will overcome problems. So this, quite literally, if I put all of this together, it seems as though something you've been going through since the end of November or December is going to end in March. And in February is basically the dissolution of the resistances that are in your way in order for that completion to happen. Okay, so even though this camel is saying persevere and you will overcome problems, I don't feel it as a defensive or an offensive, forceful thing. It's more like keep going along the path that you are headed in. Relax, take it easy, it is happening. Because with December as well, we see this emblem here of a fairy, and that's really standing out to me. Normally, I don't look at the imagery of the months, but yeah, that's really standing out. It's basically suggesting like as long as you keep true, as in stay north towards your path, then there is enough support and guidance to kind of bring you to a culmination point. So let's say you are talking with someone and you are wondering when it is going to become more official. It can be that in March something becomes official, and if you've like manifested something, set your intentions, law of attraction, all of that in December or end of November, I'm getting, then this would be the time that you're practicing like letting go and just allowing it to happen whenever it happens. You did your part and let the universe do the rest. And that is what is helping your wishes come true in March. So in that case, if you're someone who struggles to let go or of attachment or expectations, then the camel can indicate that you're persevering to detach, to surrender, to relax. Okay. That's what's coming through so far. Okay, we have the Creator Alchemy card, which is about DNA regeneration and healing as well. So something you might have started, let's say you're visiting a therapist from December, you will see considerable movement and growth in the month of March. If you've like started a new project, you're doing your own thing, you're creating your own content or products, then this indicates that you're bringing it together. There are different facets of whatever it is that you are kind of oriented towards that are coming together by the time you get to March. And in the month of February, it is more of a time to listen to your intuition, allow things to unfold as they naturally do, and kind of respond to it instead of react to it. Okay, so you're still doing your thing, you're still taking action, but it's in a very like I don't know where this is going to go. It just feels right for the moment. It feels like it fits, and that's why I'm continuing towards it. Or whatever it is that you have been doing since December, because this perseverance is going to be different for each and every one of you watching, right? Then we have lead your metamorphosis, which puts you in that driver's seat with the word lead, and metamorphosis talks about change and transformation. So it can be change of your circumstances, your external surrounding, your internal space, your moods, and things like that. Anything that is like stopping you from becoming whole or feeling more whole. If there is like one part of your life which is not fitting, meanwhile everything else is going okay, then this would be the month where you kind of turning the gears and you're making that fit somehow. There is certain change happening here. Either it's a change in your perception or an external change that just takes place without you needing to be confrontational or anything. And that kind of puts things into proper perspective, into a wholesome point of view, basically. Okay, so for creative things, by the way, this is really good because obviously we have the word creator here. We can talk about many different fields apart from just creativity. Next, we have Page of Cups, which is literally a manifestation card in a minor arcana perspective. It also talks about keeping an open heart and an open mind. So there might be many times in this month that just make you feel very wholesome and blissful wherever you are. It's the small little things that can open up your imagination and your inspiration. So I would say that, go to some place where you have a bit of a bigger view, perhaps a, tall building, a terrace, or an open field, anything that is around you. Basically talks about just opening up. Whatever can induce that feeling of openness within you, please engage in those activities, because that's where the intentions can become very clear for you. Of course, your choice, but that's what's coming through from the card. And this also talks about believing that magic is possible, not in a delusional sense, but in the sense that, at some point certain things are always impossible, or they seem impossible, and that I'm not talking about other people doing something and from them we learned that we can, conquer all and become something, noteworthy. I'm not talking about comparing with others, but just with ourselves. When we look at this past version that we did encounter some type of challenge, right? Some hurdle, even if it was like a day where we thought, oh my God, I will not get over this, or this I just cannot deal, right? And yet you did, and here you are now. So you have proven it to yourself that at some point, something you thought was impossible turned out to be possible. So why not this time, right? Why keep disproving yourself when you just believe, right? That's the philosophy of the Page of Cups. Then we have Two of Pentacles, which can talk about moving around resources, managing your time and your tasks, kind of balancing things out again. So bringing your imagination into reality. You might be a writer, for example, and if you've had like inspirational blocks, or you are struggling to take action because Mars was in Gemini, is still in Gemini. Yes, it is still in Gemini in the month of Feb. But it is turned direct now. When it was retrograde, it could have been blocked action, for example, just an internal feeling of indecision or confusion. But now that it is direct, it is much easier for you to handle your own mutable nature. So whenever you get an imagination, you're quickly able to turn gears and kind of write a couple of things down. You can like take short trips and read different books or like excerpts and get a lot out of it. Also, Mercury is direct throughout the month, and it is also moving into Aquarius. So our mind is going to be really sharp. And for you, that's quite beneficial because Aquarius is another air sign, so it's going to benefit you. Same suit, right? You're also an air sign. So either way, you're creating like tangible action, but you're taking the inspiration from the external world, just your intuition and other guidance and things that you read, basically. Then we have the Queen of Wands, which indicates you're super charming and sociable. You might be meeting some influential people as well, if that is relevant for you. It can be authorities in your workplace. It can also be social media personalities. It can also just be, you are being very charming and you are the noteworthy one. But either way, you're like surrounded by a lot of people here. Or it is putting you in a position where you can be surrounded by a lot of people. So you might be taking it in the backdrop, you're like getting this recognition, or you're like trying to balance your lifestyle and all of that, but you're still in a position to help. The Queen of Wands is a charming leader, like she's the people's people type of leader, okay? So there's kind of a social aspect to this entire month. We got that already. Like if you're already a social person, then this is going to be a very nice time for you to just, relax and have fun with your people while also getting other stuff done. And this shows that you have a lot of opportunities as well. Now, this also indicates an entrepreneurship card. So if you have your own business, this is like putting you in a very charming position. You're more likely to get noticed in this month, and there can be a lot of money shifting. You can also be shifting money to, different bank accounts, for example, turning a savings account or something like that. But definitely there's a lot of growth that is possible in exchange of resources as well. Then we have the Four of Wands, which indicates something to celebrate. So once again, a social event, a party, a gathering, for example, meeting your friends, celebrating a win, completing a milestone, and therefore, you're kind of saying cheers to that, basically. There's also a full moon in Leo, and this card reminds me of Leo, the Queen of Wands, and that is on the 5th. So that might be a very nice time that you are shining, because fire and air kind of push each other along. So that's what it feels like, that there is some sort of completion in the beginning, or there is an illumination that happens in the beginning of the month that kind of carries you forward to more of a recognition, more awareness of where you stand, how your future is developing, or the contacts that you're forming, or whatever it is, again, whatever we have been referring to here. Then we have the Ace of Cups, which indicates that you have a good chance at meeting someone new in terms of a romantic context. And there is a very strong chance you can form a lovely connection with this person. If you're not looking for anybody in a romantic sense, this can still indicate you're making a lot of new friends and connections. You're feeling very blessed, grateful, and loved. That is like for everyone. You're feeling very grateful for just the time you're having in the month of Feb. And it's like you're expressing yourself very clearly. You can love people the way that they need to be loved and appreciated and adored. So, you're inevitably kind of very likable in this month, and it's sort of like shoot for the stars kind of moment for you. Like, go where you can, be enthusiastic in your approach, use your energy. You already have such a wonderful charismatic vibe, so kind of turn that around, use that Leo vibe to kind of manifest those vibes even more, right? Like amp it up a little bit. And either way, you're like super approachable here, so whatever it is that you do, you're definitely noticed. Then we have dark energy, which indicates a lot of power and a lot of potential for transformation as well, which goes wonderfully with the Creator Alchemy card, which means that we're making something out of nothing. We're creating life and regeneration where there was a break and a fracture, right? So dark energy is kind of prevalent like everywhere, and that's on top of that we have matter and we have light and all of that. So it just indicates that you have so much potential and you're just starting. It seems like you've got the grip of it, and now it's time to just steamroll, kind of keep on going, right? Then we have protoplanetary disk. Amazing, because this is the disk where matter formed, and this is where the planets and the stars began. So it's sort of the beginning, the first proton type of vibe going on here. So the first thing you've got down, and you kind of have a template of how things are going to work. For example, you might have figured out your exact style of manifestation, like what works for you. There's so many techniques out there, and it can be so different for each and every person. We just got to experiment and try things out, little things, big things, everything, right? So it could be that you figured out your recipe or your secret to being charming or to being approachable, to attracting your opportunities, your friends, your mates, whatever it is for you. And that's absolutely delightful and super worth celebrating. Amazing. Okay, now let's see what else. Gemini, please. We have, wow, okay, we have Venus, Leo in the first house. I cannot even, right? Leo is, we talked about that, right? We talked about Leo. And Venus is the planet of love, beauty, art, and harmony. So you have harmonious relationships through and through. And she's literally the planet of love. So if you're looking for romantic or friendship, love, connections, this is an excellent month to attract someone, manifest someone. This person, quite likely, this is when they enter your life. Okay? Honestly, it is possible. It depends on what your focus is, of course. But apart from that, Leo is super charming. Venus is magnetic. It's very appealing, friendly, amicable. So again, you have very good chance to make excellent first impressions. So any interviews you want to get done, any new contacts you want to build, any opportunities you want to go for, any new thing you want to try out. You might find the perfect teacher, the best community that you can work with or learn with, There's a very good chance that you're being prominent in this month in some way, shape, or form, right? That's like really loud and clear. And speaking of loud, we do have Leo, which is represented by the lion, so that's interesting. And this seems to be coming about in the first week. And that's where you're like finding the illumination or clarity, like, oh yes, this is my secret, this is what I should do, this is what I want to be doing. It can happen around that time that you have this boost of confidence and realization, but it might still be under development around like the second week when Mercury comes into Aquarius around the 11th. And on the 18th, there is that letting go dissolution, like, yes, I understand, I have absorbed, and I'm going to let the attachment go and let it continue forward. Meanwhile, there is Venus entering Aries on the 20th, and also we have a new moon in Pisces around that time. So altogether, like, Venus is getting more amped up. She's like, I want what is mine. Like, I totally deserve this. This is my worth. And in Aries, there can be like, generally Venus rules Taurus and Libra, and over there she can be like, I know, I believe, I believe I'm worth and all of that. But when she's in Aries, which is right opposite her sign, that's not her comfort zone. But when she's there, she's like, no, I'm going to go and fight for what is mine because I know my worth. All right, it's a totally different flavor there. Why I mentioned that is because that's another fire sign along with Leo, and that is going to work very harmoniously in the beginning and the end of the month. So all throughout this month, basically, more concentrated in the first and the last week, you have a lot of energy to create a lot of magic in your life, basically. We have creator alchemy, which indicates it's up for grabs. You manifest what you want. Okay, it looks like a powerful concentration or like a wonderful willpower and magnetic powers around this time. So, use it perfectly well. I'm really excited for you guys. So that's what I have for you, Geminis. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope the reading resonated and that it helps you out. Let me know your thoughts. And if you want a personal reading, you can reach me via Etsy. The link is in the description box and the comment below. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye.